It's another edition of Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. Many thanks for joining us on the program. I'm Anne Nwawadu. On the program today, we hear from the founder of the Special Youth Leadership Foundation, Seyi Akinwale, and the foundation's ambassador, Abimbola Ayinde, on the efforts made since inception in tackling the challenges of education in Nigeria and its impact in the society. We'll also check out the sights and sounds from the events marking the launch of the Special Youth Leadership Foundation. Once again, welcome. The Special Youth Leadership Foundation is a not-for-profit aimed at bridging the gap in the education sector in Nigeria and across Africa. Let's find out more. The Special Youth Leadership Foundation is a privately funded social impact organization focused on building Africa's next set of leaders by refining their minds through education. Its operations in Nigeria began over 9 years ago through sponsorship of summer school programs and provision of scholarships, but it was incorporated as a foundation in May 2018 with an operating office in Lagos which coordinates all its activities. The foundation seeks to achieve its goal by empowering less privileged gifted African children through education, mentorship and leadership opportunities. Created through a vision to improve the quality of education in all spheres of governance in Africa and ensure a platform where more young people can maximize their potential by giving access to education. The foundation dreams of an Africa where more young people have access to essential tools that provide them with a foundation to be positive change agents to their respective communities, the African continent, and the world. Through cooperation agreements with state and local governments, missionary societies, and schools, the Special Youth Leadership Foundation currently sponsors children across Nigeria with a vision to move to other African countries over the next year. With its positive impact on thousands of children since inception, the foundation hopes to continue to do much more in bridging the gap in the education sector in Africa. I had a chat with the founder of the Special Youth Leadership Foundation, Seyi Akinwale, and we discussed the foundation's impact since inception. What inspired the creation of the Special Youth Leadership Foundation?
I think like many of us who lived and grew up in a country like Nigeria, there were many bouts of inspiration that we got. For me, I think over 10 years ago, I was concerned. I was concerned about the state of the country. I was concerned about the state of leadership crisis that I thought we had in the country, and thought that we could do something about it. I realized that governments across the world have never been the solution to the problems you found in society. And so what I thought was, if we wanted to solve leadership, we had to do it a child at a time. So 10 years ago, I sponsored the first child that I met who didn't have access to education, and then added one to it, and added one to it in the year after. Until about 7 years ago, I told the friends about the idea, and they got interested. I was so inspired and surprised about how quick they were to be a part of this dream. But in speaking to more friends, people decided to be a part of the dream, and we've now built a huge community of 150 people who are passionate about the cause, who are trying to find a solution to the problems we find in our society today.
So according to you, your goal is about building the next leaders in Africa. What have you done so far to achieve this?
In the last 5 years of our incorporation, we've been able to inspire over 5,000 children. And this has been a community of over about 150 professionals, just contributing something from their earnings. Our friends in diaspora also just adding something, ensuring that we can send and inspire one child at a time. And so in addition to the scholarship opportunities we are providing children across the country, we are also providing intervention programs. So in some communities, we organize summer schools, and we've done for the last 5-6 years, where we go into communities in various parts of the country and just inspire a love for learning with the kids. We teach them things like patriotism, value system. We get professionals to talk to these kids because most of these kids are either out of school or in very economically impoverished communities. And so what we do is try to inspire them to learn, to develop a love for learning. And that's what we're about. We believe that a country is a reflection of its people. And if you want to change a country, you have to change the people in the country. And that's the mission and what we've been able to do. We're giving more children a right to dream and a chance to develop a better life for themselves.
So let me take you back because you said you come together as a group funding these projects that you have done so far. It's amazing how young people can just come together to form a foundation, but it's even shocking that you have to fund some of these projects with your salaries. I mean, what has been your driving force? How did you even come about this?
It's interesting that as Africans, we're used to giving. And so when you speak to friends and ask them, let's contribute towards this cause, it wasn't a difficult thing for them to do. But what was different about what we're doing is the intentional way of what we were doing and ensuring that what we were doing was sustainable. We didn't want to ensure that we didn't want to provide an education to one child and drop the child the next year. We had to ensure that there was a systematic solution to what we were providing. And so it's a community of people who are salary earners, who just started very small businesses, who just want to make a contribution to the solution. And no fools thought that we can solve all the problems that we face in the continent of Africa. And so what we want to do is to start a child at a time and get to solving some of these problems a step at a time. We have an Africa focus. We want to ensure that we can contribute towards the leadership crisis in Africa. But we understand that we will start from our community. And later this year, we want to also begin a program in South Africa and then understand that we can set up a prototype that is scalable and allow more partners to join us. And so today we've invited a few of our friends, a few of our corporate partners, a few of our friends in the diplomatic community so that we can come together and be able to scale the extent of our work that we've done. Today, in the last 5 years, we reached out to 5,000 children. Our dream by 2030 is to be able to have reached out to 100,000 children continuously. And so that's what is driving us, and that's what we want to ensure. We want to ensure that the impact of our work is sustainable.
With the official launch of this foundation, with the theme Educating the Future of Africa, what are you hoping to achieve with this launch now?
We want to ensure that the African child is well educated. We want to ensure that they have a right to dream and they can have some access to a basic primary and secondary school education. That's what we're passionate about. We waited 5 years to have an official launch because we also had to ensure we had the right processes in place. We had the right accountability frameworks in place. My professional career has been around investment banking and consulting, and I understand the need to ensure you have the right process that can allow you scale up. And so what we are doing is setting up structures across the continent that allows people like ourselves, young people, to be able to contribute towards solving this crisis that we find in the continent of Africa.
And talking about the crisis in Africa and in Nigeria, the number of out-of-school children keeps skyrocketing. What do you think can actually be done by private sectors like yours and the government?
The problem is a pandemic. It's a really pandemic type situation. Because if you think about the fact that 30 million children are out of school in Nigeria today, it means that one child out of school globally, out of every 5 children, is from Nigeria. And so the social ills we find in our country today and the continent of Africa will skyrocket if we don't intervene. And that's our main driving force in terms of what we are trying to do. We have seen and analyzed that governments have never been a solution to the crisis we find in our community. What has always happened is citizens has always been the solution. And so what we are trying to do is our citizens come together and create a solution, a systemic solution that can help address the social ill.
Empowering youth and securing the future of Africa or Nigeria seems a huge task. You have healthy partnerships that can help you drive this goal of yours.
So the way we are run is through collaboration. We believe that we have to come together and build a commonwealth of people that would act as a solution to this social ill that we're trying to solve. And so today we've built collaborations with schools, with NGOs, with corporate organizations, with friends and colleagues like ourselves and young people who are coming together as a community to address this problem that we find. And so we're building community. The way we see it is that if you want to solve the water pollution crisis you find in the world, you have to solve it a step at a time. It has to be providing clean water to one person today, scaling that up to 5 and 10, and to maybe 20 afterwards. And then next is building a borehole. That's the same way we see with the educational sector. We have to ensure that we can provide education opportunities and then build institutions and frameworks by which more kids can gain access to quality education. And that's what we're committed to.
All right, so let's talk about your mission and your vision, plans for the future. You're focusing on education now. What are you hoping to do more? And do you even have plans to delve into other sectors?
We're picking a social hill at a time. Today we're focusing on education. And part of our next phase of growth is expanding the solution that we have seen in the educational sector. Because we feel that a people that is educated will reflect in the country. We believe that a leadership of a country is a reflection of the people. And if you want to change the leadership of every country, you have to change the people. And so what we are trying to do is ensure more children gain an access to education. Afterwards, then we will look at other issues. There are many social ills that we find in Africa today. Education is only one. The state of the medical facilities you find is another. Crime is one other. And we're thinking of doing this a step at a time and staying focused around that. And then building advocacy and policy framework that help ensure that the solution to this is sustainable. The future of the country and the country of Africa is in our hands. So young people are coming together to be a solution to the crisis we find and being a part of the solution to the problems we find in our society today.
Mr. Akinwale is not alone in this quest to provide quality education to as many children as possible. There are ambassadors and partners who have joined this drive to create a better future. Let's hear from one of the ambassadors, Abimbola Ayinde. The Special Youth Leadership Foundation is 5 years already. I want to imagine what the experience has been like for you.
It's been quite enlightening. So going into the foundation, you have a sense that there's a lot of underprivileged children in Nigeria, right? But I didn't fathom the level of need that we have been able to, just by having discussions with people, being more intentional about reaching out to people and understanding what the requirements are. There's a huge gap in learning. There's a huge gap. Even the ones that are in school, there's a huge gap in learning. And there's so many children out of school. There are over 20 million children out of school in Nigeria. So my experience has been, I would say, enlightening. And it's actually, personally, it's been very humbling. And also, it just shines the light on the need to do more. Most people start out thinking that there's such a huge need, what can I do? But by coming together, which is what we've done, by coming together and contributing in our own little ways, we've been able to make such a huge impact in such I'd say, a short period of time. So it's been a very good experience, and there's a lot to do. The journey ahead is still going to be quite tough. But we see that as a collective, we can actually do a lot more than we ever imagined we would be able to achieve. So yes, it's been a good experience, but it's also shed light on the fact that we need to do more.
As a female on the leadership team, driving decisions, driving vision, ensuring you make your goal achievable, are you hoping to do anything for girls or mentoring them in some way?
Certainly. I mean, when we go to the schools, for instance, we basically try to mentor both male and female. But for the females, you find that beyond just the day-to-day educational needs, there's also, for instance, the last school visit we had to have a special session. I actually led that special session, talking to the young females about basically things to know about puberty and all of those things. So whilst we are open and we basically cater to the needs of both the male and female child. For the female children specifically, we also make sure that we guide them in terms of puberty, understand how their bodies are changing and all the things that come with that. But beyond that, also understand that they have role models to look up to in terms of women in role in society and how that is evolving. Obviously, they also have a choice as to what they want to pursue in life, but at least there's a guidance.
The Special Youth Leadership Foundation put an event together recently to take a look at the journey so far and reward partners. The launch of the Special Youth Leadership Foundation begins with a cocktail as guests arrive to witness a rewarding evening filled with gratitude and hope for the future. The journey to this day began over 9 years ago with the determination of the founder, Seyi Akinwale, to bridge the gap in the education sector in Nigeria by helping young individuals through school and creating a platform for them to grow. With thousands of children as beneficiaries, partners, friends and supporters of the foundation thought it wise to come together to celebrate the journey so far. And so the celebration continues in this hall with a short speech on the reason for this gathering.
1 in every 5 child who is out of school globally is Nigerian. And so, over 5 years ago, the Special Foundation thought that we have to change this rather ridiculous statistic. I'm happy to say to you today that in the last 5 years we've been able to send close to 5,000 kids through school in one way or the other. But that's not phenomenal work when we put the context of what we have to do. We've set an achievable ambition for ourselves to get 100,000 kids in school by 2030. Sounds like a large number, but with the resources that have been available to us in such a short time, we've seen what we've done with 5,000. So if you ask yourself, why am I here today? There are very many reasons why we're here. But I don't want anyone to be here today without having this at the back of your mind. That if a few of us over the last few years have been able to help change or shape what the future of Nigeria can be, then everyone here should leave without working teams straight from their hearts. That the 100,000 kids in school by 2030 is impossible. We really can't blame the government for everything. That's responsible citizens. We have to take some things into our hands, and we as Special Foundation, that's what is called to our hearts. So, by the time that leaving here today, I expect you to have a good will, you have made new friends, you have met up with a few old friends, but more importantly, you have left here with a heart to join the work we are doing in making sure more kids are in school.
Next, beneficiaries tell their touching stories and the impact the foundation has made on their lives.
For me, Special Foundation came into my life 3 years ago. It was a very, very emotional time for me because someone so important to me passed on. Like, I did have any reason for me to follow my education because there was no one for me to stand out, like, to make me, but for me to say, oh, I did it for this person. But when Special Foundation came into my life, I said, okay, I'm going to do this for Special Foundation. I'm going to push came home very good results. I came home with B's, C's, and I was very proud of myself. I was very happy because I could push on. I could do it for myself. I did it for the Special Foundation. I want to say very big thank you to the Special Foundation. I want to say thank you to the people, the partners. I want to say thank you for seeing children like us and picking us and saying that we're going to finish our education, we're going to stand up for our country. I want to say thank you so much.
It's also an evening to reward those who have supported the foundation through the years.
I'm not even sure where to start because my friends have asked me, what is this about? And I understand the need for that level of curiosity. But, you know, the truth about it is that this is truly a community of people who want to make a change and contribute towards the solutions to the problems we have in Nigeria and the continent of Africa. I think the genesis of this it started about 9 years ago. I think then my sister told me about a community in the outskirts of Abuja where they wanted to provide bowl and organize a summer school program for them. And I was really burdened by that initiative. I wanted to support. I want to honor the first person I told this idea to, of course, apart from my wife. I told her this idea when I was toasting her and said to her, listen, I think we need to build a community together. And Dami, I would like to applaud you for even believing with them there was nothing to talk about. Thank you so much for everything. But also, the first person I told about this idea was my friend Tunde Akabasono. And we were neighbors, and I said to him, bro, I want to do this idea. And Tunde believed in the idea and said, let's do it together. In the last 5 years, we've impacted over 5,000 children. And I've tried to explain that it was never my own funds. I'm not that rich yet. It was through the selflessness of a lot of people in this room. Thank you very much for your time, your dedication, and your commitment to the vision. There are many reasons of why we care, but one of the reasons also for why we do what we do is because we understand that even if we can make a change for ourselves, if we can provide the education for our kids that we desire for them, they can't live in isolation. And so, except you make a change and contribute towards helping the next child, your child is not really secure in the world in which you're living. And the former president of Obasanjo also spoke to that point, where he said that the future of this country is dependent on the youth. And except we try to make a change and be a part of the change that we see, all our interventions or our hope to an aspiration to create a world for our kids alone will be in futility. But I think the most important question we're here to talk about is our next steps. Now we want to take our dream and scale our dream a lot higher. We are extending our reach to the nation of South Africa by Q4 this year. But we want to be able to set frameworks through which a lot of people can contribute towards a solution in Africa.
Amazing. Amazing.
As guests dine and wine, they enjoy performances by young, talented Nigerians.
Who are we? We are a group of people who understand the value of education, and we are deliberate enough to invest in ensuring it comes to fruition. See, we recognize that every child possesses innate potential, and like little drops of water make a mighty ocean, we will gradually contribute towards creating opportunities for them to explore by putting in place the right structures that maximize potential and restore confidence to Africa's bright future. Unlike generations before, we won't look away anymore. By adopting the right processes and practices, it will be our reality, a soft nudge towards regaining our sanity. As we reconnect with our humanity, put an end to this profanity, and ultimately rebrand our identity.
For our family, money they flow well, enjoyment plenty. And the way our parents they spend the money, she long to make party. Oh, our parents they groove them just the ball. Ferrari load me Ferragamo tomorrow, designer the long walk. But the children they suffer. Like rats in the gutter. What the yeka and person when they suffer. No get time to care for another. And so the children are fighting. They are fighting each other. Oh, to yeka ba bi wa falambara wa fa. One billy key.
As the Special Youth Leadership Foundation continues in its quest to help the less privileged in the society, it continues to seek the support of partners, government and well-meaning Nigerians to push the goal of helping hundreds of thousands of children out of poverty by providing them with basic needs and proper education. With the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria increasing daily, it's a clarion call to collaborate with organizations like these to create a better future that everyone deserves. Well, they say education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it. On that rewarding note, we end Kaleidoscope for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can watch past editions on youtube.com/channelsweb. Click on playlist, then scroll to Kaleidoscope. I'll see you again very soon. I'm Anne Nwawodo. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.